Check, check. All right, we sound good. Do we look good? This is usually the part where I have some connection issues. Hey, it's working. All right, welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I just want to jump right into it. Let's get into altcoin and crypto and stock analysis. I am here for you guys. I have been trying some different things with my channel throughout this year, trying some YouTube shorts, doing long form and short form videos. And what you all want from me, what I see in the data is you all want analysis of various altcoins or specific cryptos. So I am here for you. If you are joining later, you can comment below which altcoins you would like analysis on. And I will do my best to put out a YouTube short giving my quick analysis on one of those altcoins. But in these live streams, what I figure is I can get more into it. I can spend more time giving you analysis on any of those altcoins. So recently I have done videos on XRP. I think Solana's in the works. Cardano. We talked about, there was another one recently. Was it Cosmos, I believe, that we did earlier. Caspa. Yeah, Cosmos Atom. So we're going to be getting into altcoin analysis a lot today, or a lot of quick analysis. Where we are in the markets as of now, the stock market, we have fallen back down into neutrality territory from greed. And as far as the crypto market, we are in fear. But fear not, these are the times to be looking for opportunities. Again, you want to look for value in the market when there's fear. So we were wondering if this neutrality territory was going to hold up. It didn't. However, this is the time for all you smart, intelligent viewers and subscribers of my channel. And you all are smart. I can see it. I see in the comments. You guys find good plays, good altcoins, good stocks at local bottoms. So I got to hand it to you all. You are a wonderful community. And I think as we put in this bottom in fear, that there are going to be some good opportunities probably starting right now. Do recall that we've been sharing this a lot. Seasonality for August and September tend to be the worst. Maybe October is sort of part of that base that crypto is putting in. And that's okay, because these are the opportunities to buy low. Everyone talks about buying low, selling high, but this is the time where it gets hard to do it because you see the prices falling, you want to give up, you want to stop paying attention. These are the times to really be on the lookout. And as I talk about different altcoins, just remember that we want alt season, which plainly does not happen until Bitcoin tops. Once Bitcoin tops, it's too expensive to keep buying, then we get that rotation into alts. The altcoins are still at a good value. Bitcoin has not peaked yet. I'm still looking for somewhere in these orange boxes, 150 to 200K, somewhere in there. Bitcoin miners, we'll talk about some of those today as we do analysis, but let's get into it. All right. Now, Bitcoin has a weekly sell signal, and this is a sell signal with Heikin-Ashi candles by Shobajek, so credit to this person. But usually when we get these sell signals, we tend to see Bitcoin go down for another week or two, or at least sideways for a couple weeks. So do be wary of that. Let's get rid of that indicator because I want to put on some more. But as I saw Bitcoin stopped in the middle here, I was like, okay, what's going on? And we can see that Bitcoin is in this descending channel. And so we have the 618 that Bitcoin revisited before at about 107.5. At that 618, we also have that 200-day moving average. So if we got a lower low on the micro time frame, I would not be shocked. I'd also not be shocked to see Bitcoin put in a bottom somewhere around this 103 to 102K area. I know that sucks. If that happens, that is a can't miss buying opportunity, in my opinion. Not telling you what to do, but for me, I will not miss that level. We also have the 50-week moving average coming up there. So by the time this move plays out over the course of the next few weeks, that's where we could see Bitcoin get. Let's add on some indicators for the weekly. Let's do our classic. Let's go to RSI. We've been doing stochastic. I want to do the classic RSI. And what do we see here? Well, the MACD, that is just flipping negative again. So do be on the lookout for lower prices. I do like this wick on the weekly for a possible base, but I think, the RSI is also just bullish. If we go to the daily, this RSI is putting in another oversold bottom here. So do be mindful of that as well. Yeah, in the daily, this shows that, this downward move probably isn't quite done yet. All right, let's look at Bitcoin dominance quick and turn on our moving averages. So we talked about this after Bitcoin dominance put in this bottom at this fib. I believe that's the 618. It has had a bounce up to the 50-day, and it is holding resistance there. And, that's a nice wick for a possible reversal to the downside again. But I do think this 20 and the 50, we could see dominance get back up to that 60% area. Okay, dominance came down a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if it came back up, tested this, kept going down. I hear people talking about how last cycle, we revisited the tops, and that could happen. But, why does anything have to repeat all because it happened before? So I'm just taking this analysis and data for what it's giving us. And I think, we could see, again, signs are pointing to a few weeks of downward price action. We've been talking about this week in the videos that do not be surprised if we see some negative price action or pullback in time coming soon, because markets have been doing so well for a hot minute. But this is a pullback I do not want to miss. Total 3 hit that all-time high area. All these things could get resistance and then revisit support. So I am not worried about crypto as a whole, but we are getting a pullback opportunity. Ethereum, we have these former highs right here, the 20-week, the skull and pocket area. I would not be shocked to see Ethereum get down to 3,500 again. Maybe a wick. It is holding up nicely at the 100-day moving average. Again, those local tops. We have the golden pocket and the 200. So if things get more bearish, that's what I'm looking for as far as Ethereum. Chainlink, one of my favorite cryptos. Probably my favorite top altcoin. As far as all these altcoins, okay, in the top 20, we really have our top 10, Ethereum, Tether's a stable coin. So Ethereum's the top one. XRP, the number 2. There's no question about that. Binance, BNB coin. Solana, that's for another stable coin. Doge, I don't think Doge belongs in this conversation. I would not be surprised to see Doge underperform this cycle. But hey, I've been wrong about Doge in the past. Again, we'll get into the technical analysis of these altcoins. And if there's other ones you want to talk about, comment below. At number 6, overall altcoin, we have Tron, 7, Cardano, 8, Hyperliquid. I haven't ever really talked about Hyperliquid, so maybe we need to take a look at this one. Another stable coin. The number 9th overall altcoin, Chainlink, and number 10 overall altcoin, we have AVAX. So when I take a look at these top altcoins, I ask myself a very simple question. What is their floor? What is their ceiling? I think there are cryptos that have a high floor, like Solana, but are their ceilings as high? Same with Binance. I thought Binance has a very high safe floor, but does it have that high potential? And as I take a look at all these, Cardano, I feel like has a high floor, but sort of a medium to low ceiling. I take a look at Chainlink, and I think this one has a very solid floor and a very high ceiling. Okay, yes, it's lower on our top altcoin list, but I'm looking for safer altcoins that I can dollar cost average throughout the crypto cycle, and that will benefit by the end of alt season here. So Chainlink, a lot of you guys like AVAX. So let's just talk about those two right now. Chainlink, as far as in this moment, it's holding up the 100-day just like Ethereum was. We have the 200-day down here. Let's zoom out to the weekly. This weekly, that's no doubt a sell signal. Very strong wick, though. You see where that 20 simple moving average is. So hitting that 20 moving average, we have the 50 and the 100. If this support at the 618 breaks on Chainlink and it gets anywhere near 16, I am buying some more Chainlink again. I do like Chainlink at this level. So I would not be... I would be a little surprised if it got there, but I would not be missing that opportunity. We also have Chainlink putting in a series of higher lows in this channel, and the 382s down here. If you see Chainlink anywhere underneath $14, that is a can't miss opportunity in my opinion. So I'm not saying that is going to happen, but if the 618 does break support, it was resistance, is now support, and we get anywhere near 16, I will dollar cost average appropriately, me, not you. And if it gets under here, I might pull from my next month's budget and not miss out on that. So I do like Chainlink in those areas. Let's take a look at the MACD and the stochastic. And after this one, like I said, we'll get into AVAX, we'll get into other altcoins you all have requested lately. Or if you have any requests in the comments, please put that as well. The stochastic, I mean, this doesn't look good. This does need to reset itself. And so, this isn't a one-to-one ratio from price to strength action, but this is showing weakness coming back in. And again, I think October for a few weeks could be kind of bearish. We even have that on stock seasonality. A lot of stock seasonality, S&P and NASDAQ showing October. Early October, mid-October, you could see a nice bottom, maybe even late October, but a strong Q4. So if that plays out again, I think that $16 area would be quite nice for Chainlink. All right, let's get into AVAX, and because I get a lot of requests for AVAX. A lot of you very smart subscribers like this one. So AVAX, this one is overbought on these metrics. It hasn't turned around bearish yet, and it is hitting that 0.5. So that does give me caution that if we do get a turnaround here and this starts honoring the bear market, that the minor bear market, small time frame, okay, over the course of the next month or less, that AVAX could come back down to the 382 or some of its moving averages. I really like to marry the fibs with the moving averages. I think they go together quite nicely. That's distracting. But when we match the Fibonacci retracement, as you see, macro high to low, we also have AVAX in this massive channel, okay? When we see the Fibonacci high to low and the moving averages, you see a lot of great support here at the 382 at around 25.5. We're not too much higher than that. And if AVAX gets anywhere 28 to 25, and you like AVAX, I cannot argue with that as far as, possibly re-entering in. It has gotten to that 236 before. I would not love that because anytime you're underneath the 382, you can technically put in new lower lows, and anytime you're underneath the 50-week moving average, you're bearish. So this is a very strong area supported at around 25.5. I like that area. I'd want to see good structure. Let's start from the top with altcoins. We'll start with XRP. And which one do we want to go to? The US dollar one or the current one? I have a couple different XRP charts. And XRP is just loving this 1618, right? This is why we draw our macro fibs. That is the 1618 there at around $3, and it is just loving that area. Albeit it is running into a bit of resistance, but getting support off the 20. So it is being squeezed here, and it's either going to shoot one way or the other. And the way I sort of make an educated guess on this is, what's the market overall doing? Yes, cryptos and stocks can get detached and do their own thing, but if I had to guess, based on what the rest of the market's doing, I would not be surprised to see XRP possibly get down to $2.30 if it were to break down underneath that 20. Let's take a look at the daily moving averages. The 200-day moving average has held up. Now you see it does wick down lower, but it holds on to that moving average very nicely. That 200 moving average is at 261. So if we get another wick down, somewhere around, if you like XRP, 260 to that 230 area. But keep this in mind, XRP let's measure this out, for over the course of 900 days, not quite 3 years, but close to that, it was between 30 to 70 cents, and then it exploded up. So I do think it is having some nice consolidation at this 1618 area. Now, if we take a look at XRP, which one? Tether? Is that the one we want to look at? I have two different charts here for XRP. Maybe it is the USD chart. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So yeah, here we go. XRP US dollar. Let's zoom out on the weekly. So something curious about XRP US dollar chart is we can draw a fib all the way from the top back in January 2018. And if we do that, what do we notice? XRP never truly made a new all-time high. I mean, yes, it did just briefly, but these are wicks, not candle bodies. And this is the all-time high area, all right? We've seen this with Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin in March of 2024. Yes, it made new all-time highs, but the candle bodies never got above. And so ultimately, that former all-time high area was just too strong a resistance. We had to test it over 3 times before we could finally break through. So similarly speaking, XRP, US dollar, I'm on the right chart here. I mean, it's challenged. It almost got there once, twice. Maybe it'll challenge it again. It is getting some good support there off the 20, like I said before. Now, this fib is off log. And if it gets to the 1618, I think this is a good topping area for XRP at around 5 2/3, $5.67. Okay, so I don't think XRP isn't going to do well. I like XRP. I'm just not delusional like a lot of the YouTubers who are calling for $100 XRP this cycle. Hate to break it to you, that's not going to happen. So $9.10, I think, for me, if I was an XRP investor and I was buying between 20 to 50 cents, whatever, if you were buying down here and you were an XRP Army believer and you're buying in that area, I mean, think about it. You've already gotten a 10x, you might get a 20x. So if you get a 20x inside of a few years, why wouldn't you take profits? You'd be stupid not to. And you had all that time, 900 days, $2 cost average in. You are very happy right now. And if we get that alt season anywhere between $5.67 to, let's just say, $9, I think that is a great area for profit taking for XRP. Let's take a look at Binance Coin. Again, if you have any requests for certain altcoin analysis, please comment below. Binance Coin, it is at its 1618, quite nicely, in fact. Look at that, just like we were talking about with the Heikin-Ashi candle bodies. I think this 1618 is going to be very strong resistance for Binance Coin. And if you look at the daily, exactly what we talked about. Now, candle bodies got above, but it's showing a little weakness right now. So if it can stay on the 20, fine. But, Bitcoin, overall, it is looking a little bearish right now, even Ethereum. And we don't have any confirmation. We're not close to the confirmation of moving to the upside yet. But, if it got down to this on the daily, we have these tops here over here in the 50-day. So maybe Binance comes back down to 894. But again, as far as where Binance Coin is right now, this is just this cycle. This cycle is as low as $200-ish. This is around the time, I believe, when CZ, the CEO of Binance, was going to jail. People were wondering, is Binance going to die like FTX? It didn't. You could have Binance at 200 and dang near gotten a 5X. But Binance, I don't know if this would be the time to buy, but I'd be taking a look at profit targets. And we are at that 1618. 2618 at 1500, I think, isn't a bad area at all. Let's continue down the list. Let's get into Solana. Solana, it's funny to me. Early on in this cycle, people love Solana. Solana was very much loved. Oh my God, as far as this crypto cycle goes. But as time's gone on, Solana's become very divisive. I see people who are either, very strong Solana believers or people who hate it. It's almost Solana's it's kind of turning into the new XRP. So after Solana in late 23 to March 24, had this massive move up from $20 to 200. So it did its 10x, and it's just been consolidating in this range. I haven't fixed this fib in a while, so let's do that here. Let's add in our 888 fib. Let's add in our golden pocket. And then let's add in another fib extension, 2, 3, 6. All right. And let's turn down the volume on that background. All right. This isn't reading rainbow for technical analysis. So Solana, it hit that former all-time high area, or almost to it. Maybe my fib's not perfect. It's at the 100-day. We have the 888 and the 200-day here. What was once resistance can maybe be support. So if you get Solana anywhere between 105 to 185, I think that's a nice dip buying area. Crypto golfer likes that comment. The new XRP, that's a Solana low blow. I'm not hating. I'm just talking about what I see as far as the community out there and what people say about it. People are very divisive about Solana now. Solana used to be very loved early in this cycle around 2024. People loved it. And as it's been consolidating for almost 2 years, people love it or hate it. So, this consolidation, I think Solana's waiting for alt season. We have a sell signal, as you see right here. The 50-day and the 888 is at 175. If you are patient and you're able to get 175 Solana, I think that would be a nice area if you are able to get it. I am seeing, as I look at this does kind of look like a channel. Kind of. Let's draw this out. Kind of looks like a channel. Sometimes you just got to play with trend lines and stuff. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a good enough channel for you? That 200 days at the lower area of the channel, maybe we're looking for it. Yeah, I didn't include these. That's a lazy channel. So if we do, again, I think 185 to 175 might be a good area to look for, but, not the best channel. Let's add in our MACD and stochastic, or maybe we'll do ultimate RSI. I love the ultimate RSI by Lux Algo. Lux Algo, by the way, has many good indicators. So yeah, I don't love this. Ultimate RSI does look like it's resetting. And the MACD, it is still dying off. So I would wait for the MACD to get these light red bars and show some turnaround before I would be buying it. Now you can see right here it had some turnaround, but it wasn't quite oversold. So when the RSI is oversold, this is why we marry the RSI and the MACD together. I think they go together very well because the MACD can be going up, and the RSI can say, hold on, wait a minute, we're not done yet. Albeit here, the MACD was more correct as well. But those are good indicators to look for potential bottoms. Crypto golfer, hope you're doing well. All right, let's go to Dogecoin. Again, I'm not big on Doge this cycle. I could be wrong. Crypto loves to be ironic. There's the dancing Doge. Look at that cool guy. You see these series of higher lows, higher highs. Our fib is off log. Let's change that. Curious what is going on with Doge. What's that on our moving averages? All right, sweet. Let's get off of this. So Doge, it is at the last bit of daily resistance, daily support right here. Doge is at that 100-day support. some wicks to the 200, so maybe we see Doge at around 22 cents, 22, 23. If you love Doge and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to miss this, I don't blame you. Again, we see a series of higher highs, higher lows, almost a channel, but we do have this ascending trend line, and so Doge, maybe it'll come up, test resistance at that 618, come down. If you love Doge and you can get it anywhere around 19 cents, cool. I don't know if some of you guys were here for a while. I was saying if you got Doge anywhere near 14 cents, that's good, and that's exactly what happened. But I am liking these series of higher highs, higher lows, kind of a channel here. Again, it looks like there's channels appearing across a lot of crypto. So if Doge, I'd be looking at these lows right around here. If Doge breaks through that 200-day moving average in this channel at around 21, 22 cents, again, 19 cents, I think, would be a good area to watch for. Now, Doge, not saying it can't do well this cycle, but I do have my reservations as far as, it did get to the 786. As far as during alt season, is it going to revisit all-time highs? I'll say this. The fact that Doge already got to its 786 and it's not alt season yet, I think bodes well for it. Because last cycle, let's go to this. Last cycle, during alt season, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, they hit their 786 and they died. They did not go any higher. There are going to be altcoins this cycle that were good last cycle that are not going to get above their former all-time highs. Do be aware of that as you're looking at older cryptos. Okay? Doge, out of all the top 10 altcoins, Doge is one I'm worried about this cycle for alt season. Tron is the number one altcoin I am worried about as far as next bear market. Do all the research you want on Justin Sun. I feel like he's the Chinese Sam Bankman-Fried. And if you don't know who SBF is, look it up, SBF, FTX. That was the bear market bottom catalyst for this last cycle, or this current one at the bottom. The cycle before is BitConnect. So every cycle there's a new crypto that dies gloriously. That's a top altcoin. And Tron, I think, is enemy number one. So anyways, Dogecoin, yeah, I think we already talked about the price supports there. Let's keep moving. Let's go into Tron. I'm not saying Tron can't do well this cycle, but I do have my reservations. All right, so Tron, it is right at around that former all-time high area. We have a lot of fibs we could draw here. But let's do this. Now, believe it or not, some of you won't believe me, that's fine. I bought Tron down here. I bought it when it was a third or a quarter of a penny at 0.02. Yep. Now, I didn't sell the very top. I was selling on the way down. Did not make as much as I could have. Now, look at this for Tron. It is hitting resistance at that former all-time high area from 2017. But if you were a Tron holder, I would feel good about it. And I think that 1618 at, what is this, 55 cents would be the area to watch for. Let's zoom in on the weekly again. Let's fix that. It has loved the 20-week moving average for a while. It hasn't even got to the 50. So that 888 at around 31 cents. Again, I would not be chasing Tron per se, but when we hit alt season time, this would be one I'd be looking to get the hell out of and never look back. Personally, that's maybe I'm still I'm a Tron hater. That's okay. I'll admit my bias on that one. Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano is one you guys request time to time. It does keep coming up in requests. All right, so Cardano, you can see here we have this trend line of these higher highs. I was actually just looking at this. I haven't ever drawn this out. Does this line up on a log scale? Kind of. That's interesting. I'll say this. As you start drawing too many lines, you're making life harder on yourself. So I don't want to do that. Sometimes it looks sometimes you got to simplify things, not get too much into the weeds. Cardano, we were looking at this resistance at the 618. It could get some support down here at around 64 cents. But if Cardano does well, we've talked about the 1618 fib extension for this cycle and how it lines up with this series of higher highs. The 1618, 2618s here at $8. King Cardano go to $8. The prior two cycles at the top of $1.30, $3. I'd be looking at this 1618 around $5 personally. Cardano, again, I believe it's one that has a solid floor, but a medium to low ceiling. Crypto golfer, it took me exactly 2 cycles to become a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a slow learner, but I do learn. Well, you're a smarter guy than me because it's going to take me 3 cycles. I'm still in altcoins and stuff, but yeah, next cycle, I'll be joining you as being a Bitcoin maxi. This cycle, I have my hand in about, how many? 7 or so mining stocks and a similar amount of cryptos. But yeah, Cardano though, going back to this, that does look like a strong area to buy. Again, if we're going to see Cardano go from 70 cents to $5, that's a 7x. All right. So hopefully Cardano does well for you. Let's take a look at Hyperliquid. I don't think I've ever taken a look at Hyperliquid, or if I did, I do not remember. Tether perpetual futures, perpetual contract, Hyperliquid Tether. Let's take a look at this one. All right. I just want to compare charts here and see which one. Sometimes they're the different charts. Yeah, that one seems similar to Hype. Seems similar to the... Yeah, okay. I guess the KuCoin one is the best. As far as Hyperliquid, let's see. Let's go to the daily time frame. And this one looks to have come out December 2024. Now, as far as fibs, you can see it. I mean, we can honor this high. I'm going to draw a couple different fibs here. Let's do a high to low. All right. Former all-time high support, of course, 888 down here around the 200-day moving average. I also want to draw a low to high. Hate how that appears right there. Let's do that. Looks like it's coming down to the 236. Okay. As it's revisit, yeah. So you see this high came down to the 236. Not quite there. That high, not to the 236, but to that 100 moving average. And here, yeah, if you like hype, if you are into the hype, the 200-day and the 236 at around $38. I know nothing about Hyperliquid or hype other than the fact it is up here. Okay? It is part of the top 10 altcoins. 15 billion market cap. So I need to do my research on Hyperliquid. We talked about Chainlink and AVAX. Let's get into SWI. And let's talk about Stellar Lumens. We have not talked about Stellar Lumens in a while. By the way, is it SWI? Is it SUI? I have not heard an answer on that one yet. If I'm saying it wrong and stupid, comment below. Like, why are you saying SWI? It's SUI. Or maybe I'm correct. I don't know. SUI is finding support at the 1618. So, I mean, you can see this. Talk about a massive wedge flag pattern going on here. I mean, we have these series. It's not going to be a perfect wedge. That's okay. We have these series of higher lows and lower highs. All right. So sometimes when I've drawn this out in the past, at least last cycle in particular, when there were many altcoins making this formation, it lined up close to where we got alt season. And you can see, look at that date at the bottom, November. Is this when we're going to see very a very bullish time in the market. I mean, that lines up as far as seasonality goes. November, it's the best month for crypto. Are we going to see Bitcoin top around late October or early November, and then we get to an alt season, and some of these large caps just start shooting off? So if we see that for SUI, can it do a 2x, get close to that 3618? Its market cap is at 11 billion. So we're talking about SUI getting to 22 billion. And by the time alt season's taken off, I mean, some of these are going to blow those market caps out of the water. If a 2x is at around 22 billion, could SUI, if it's a top altcoin, get to 50 billion? Why not? So it could do a 4 to a 5x from here if it's one of the chosen ones. I'm not here to tell you what the chosen ones are. But I will say, this one does have my attention. And it does look to be, AVAX and SUI look to be altcoins that could potentially have a very nice ceiling for them. Now, as far as buying in right now, I would temper expectations. Maybe you get a 2 to a 5x somewhere in there. But keep in mind, this thing was at 90 cents and you weren't buying it. Most of you out there, if not all of you. So, you didn't get that 5x here. You're chasing it now. So this thing has ran up already. I would be careful about that. All right, let's keep going down the list. Stellar Lumens. This is a 2017 altcoin. Stellar Lumens. And which chart is going to have the most history? Well, we've charted this one before. Let's zoom way out. Okay. That's not the largest chart. I don't think it was on Coinbase all the way back then. Usually it's Stellar and the dollar. I know this one was around way long before that. Crypto market cap's right. Yeah. That's the market cap. We could do that and ignore the price. Let's just do that. And what do we see here for Stellar Lumens? Just by market cap, okay, you can see this former all-time high area that has been resistance. 1, 2, 3, and you see a massive wedge going on here. My God. This is hitting from every cycle. Isn't that crazy? We have these series of higher lows. This thing's just ranging in here. This is by market cap, okay? But I do want to find the price. Bitfinex. We're just going to have to live with one of these. Yeah, we'll just have to do this one. But let's fix up our fib. We'll put it back on log scale. We'll add in our golden pocket. And then we'll turn down the background. Because we don't need to be looking at giant rainbows here all day. And I'm glad I added on that 0.65 because it seems to be coming back down to that golden pocket. We have the 50-week moving average right at the 618 at 31 cents. If you like Stellar Lumens, I think that'd be an area to look at picking some up. But yeah, this would be one. Look at that top in 2021. Just like Doge, it stalled out at its 786. Okay, probably even came up to its 888 there. Let's add that in. Looks like it tagged the 888 perfectly. But as far as candle buys, 786. So do be mindful of those older altcoins, the 2017, 21 altcoins. If we are a few weeks into alt season and they're stuck at their 786, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to consider taking profits, at least initial investment, and having sort of a stop loss exit strategy if it's not going to get above that. The last 6 Octobers look pretty damn good on that chart. Nobody else in the chat. Bueller. Yeah. Are you talking about the market cap one? Octobers. Let's go to Octobers. October 24. Okay, October 24. Let's go to October 23. Cool. Yeah, so far so good. October 22. Yeah, not bad. Okay. October 21. I wonder if, is this one you're talking about? I mean, yeah. It, this is just crazy to me how it's, still visiting those former highs. Any other altcoins? Total crypto returns by month. Yeah, gotcha. Um, Bitcoin Cash. Is anyone else surprised this thing's still in the top 20? So I talked about how Bitcoin Cash only got to its 786 last cycle. Same with XRP, and I think this one's been on Coinbase for a while. Let's do that. Oh my God, we do not want to do that. I want to add in the golden pocket. All right, cool. And let's turn down the volume on this one as well. All right, awesome. So XRP and Bitcoin Cash only hit their 786 from the 2017 top. Now you can see it almost didn't hit the 786. It got close to it. My cat says hi. She had to jump up and join the live chat because only one of you is talking in here. But you see here, I mean, look at this. As far as Bitcoin Cash, we had a series of lower highs, but it escaped that trend line. And if we draw this out, I think from this fib, I don't know why I had it drawn to that other low down here. And let's fix that. Let's make sure we capture that top. It's right in its golden pocket. So it escaped that lower high area right in its golden pocket. Tell you, if you're a Bitcoin Cash guy, maybe like XRP, this one can surprise people. So that is good structure. It's escaping. It's in the golden pocket. This would be one to keep an eye on. Now, it didn't quite get above these highs. But this is one no one's talking about. And some of these older altcoins have done well. XRP did well. Could Bitcoin Cash do a 5x from here? That's a question for you to answer. I'm not buying Bitcoin Cash. By the way, if you ever want to see a funny video, there's a guy, I think he's like the head of Bitcoin Cash, and he's doing an interview, and a guy keeps calling it B Cash, and the dude like crashes out, starts flipping him off, leaves the podcast. There's a YouTube video out there. You can just type in like B Cash, middle finger, whatever. It's a funny video. I'll give you some 2017 crypto lore videos to get into. But yeah, I doubt any of you have Bitcoin Cash. I'd be surprised. Let's do HBAR, Litecoin, and we'll get to some miners. Again, if you have any requests, comment them below. HBAR. This one's always kind of got weird charts. All right, we have not taken a look at this one in a while. I mean, look at this right here. I have a couple charts for HBAR. It has obviously passed those highs. I mean, look at this. So I want to do this differently. I want to draw a fib from low to high. I think that would make more sense. We got to put that back on log scale. And do we have the 6.5 golden pocket? We do not. Let's fix that. Let's get that 2 out of here. All right. So we went low to high. Here's our 618 retrace. Nice double bottom here. Where have we seen that? We've seen double bottoms on other cryptos. Nice double bottom here. But it does look to be, getting rejected off that 236. 50-week moving average here, the 100-week and the 382. If you like HBAR and you're able to get around that 168 point, 16 cents and 4/5, let's see what happens here at 19.5 cents. But yeah, I do like HBAR in this sort of range right here. And then Litecoin being the last one, another 2017 altcoin. It's been on Coinbase forever. And yeah, this is a channel we drew a while ago. Again, is it the most perfect channel? No. It's up to you how you want to take this. I think that is fine. We were looking at possible Litecoin tops. I've seen, it's about a year ago, I think, people are talking about Litecoin going to, or half a year ago, Litecoin's going to go to this super high price. Now, look at this. Just kind of like Stellar Lumens, you see where these highs are. So, I'm not counting on Litecoin personally to, like Stellar Lumens, take off and get above 413. But Litecoin, I feel, is one of those high floor, low ceiling altcoins where, it could get you a solid 3 to 4x, but that's it. I would temper expectations. And this would also be a candidate for me as far as altcoins I'd be worried about not getting past at 786. Least most wanted. Hello. I hope you're doing well. On the weekly, great support here. We have the 50, the 100, the 200, the 0.5. Great support. How about Near and WorldCoin? Jason asks for. How about them? Let's get into them. Near protocol. I do like Near. This is one of those I do like. Now, macro high to low. It's underneath the 382, which means it could still technically put in new lower lows. And it's underneath the 50-week moving average, which means it is still bearish. But it's challenging those levels. We've seen this pop up a lot recently with a lot of crypto assets that have been getting through this area. So you want to see this area support at around 320. If we are indeed going to be bearish around the next few weeks and you can get it at $2, I do not hate that. I like Near protocol. From the light amount of research I've done on it, there is some word about it being an AI coin. I don't do your own research. Any altcoins that are going to be tied up with the whole AI euphoria, I think, are worth considering. There's Fetch.ai. Maybe that's one we need to look at. So if you can get Near down here, I would be, that kind of rhymed, did not mean it to. I would be very excited about that. As far as, we could take a look at a fib within a fib. Let's see. Yeah, it's even at that 382 as well, but you see how there's a 236. Yeah, at 257, that'd be an area to consider buying as well. But if you believe in this altcoin, you don't really care if you're buying it here or here because you believe this thing can do gangbusters, okay? Near protocol, it's not too far down. It has a $3.5 billion market cap. A 2x makes it $7 billion, okay? A 10x makes it $35 billion. If Near protocol is one of the chosen ones, $35 billion is not a crazy number to consider. So, yeah, Near protocol. Wilfy. Now, WorldCoin, I assume this is one you're talking about, Jason, Wilfy. This one was just listed on Robinhood. And I'll just say, I've noticed recently when new altcoins get listed on Robinhood, and correct me if this is the one that you don't want me to talk about, but I assume it is because it's a WorldCoin. There's been a little pullbacks right after listing. So we just talked about this one not too long ago. It is a newer coin. I will always, challenge people to be wary of newer coins because, these things can rug pull. They're hard. Whoop, on one of those mouse pads. They're hard to graph. Okay, they're hard to really nail down. And this one, it's so hard to draw a fib on this. We had that trend line it broke underneath. As far as the fib, when I was just drawing high to low from here, you can see, I think that fib kind of made sense. It seems to be honoring those fib levels. Okay. Now it did break down out of that giant wedge. I do think that 786 is a key area to watch for. But look what happened to WorldCoin. I was talking about a different WorldCoin. All right. Let's finish analysis on this and I'll take a look for it. Write the ticker below. I apologize, Jason. That 382 held up fine. All right. So, yeah. Anyways, 382 held up fine. This one's going up. See what happens at the 618. Least most wanted. I wanted to read your comment and then I want to find this guy's WorldCoin. just talked for a minute about something that I didn't even need to. So yeah, make sure you put that ticker in the comment below. I'll get to it. Since you are being so chill, can you look at the $1 million fully diluted Clanker token bot? I'm familiar with the Clanker stuff. It's been infesting my Instagram algorithm recently. That small cap supply intrigues me. I am in it around $14. Where will it go? All right, we'll get to your Clanker coin. Let's first go to this guy had his comment in first. Let's get to WLD. All right, so you got it at, or no, that's the Clanker one he's talking about. All right, WLD. We're on the 30-minute. Can we go to the daily? We can. This one's been out for a while. I have not charted it. What is WLD's market cap? Let's take a look at this. WLD. Oh, it's a number 43 overall coin. All right. I must be looking right past it. So this one, here we go. $2.6 billion market cap. You know, some of these altcoins, kind of in the middle of the top 100, you know, do your research. The last couple cycles, I mean, 2021 in particular, there are some gems in here. And if you do your research, find the right ones. There are some gems in this range that can really pop off. So I know the hard thing is when you do research on these altcoins, there's a lot of shills out there. They say all the good things. Look for the good things, look for the bad things, make your own informed decision. But as far as this one's concerned, we have a macro high to low fib to draw from this March of 24 area. It's still technically underneath the 382. I mean, man, you could draw a channel here. But, I mean, it looks like, yeah, it broke out of that lower high range right here, which is good. And let's correct something on this fib. I didn't quite capture the top perfectly. Ugh. Using a mouse pad isn't always fun. The 382 did hold good resistance. But yeah, I do like that it got above there. It's showing some strength, ability to pop off. You know, here's the thing though. You got to be careful of these when they're just putting in new lower lows, you know, because they can round out. And then, you know, again, being under the 382 means we could still technically put in new lows. And, I mean, the weekly, this shows it even nicer. The 50 week got rejected. So if we're not closing above the 50 week, we are bearish. We're not closing above the 382, we can put in new lows. So I would be cautious of this one. Now, could it be one of the chosen ones during all season? Sure. But I will tell you, I've seen too many coins with this chart pattern that just die off and just keep putting in these false tops. So yeah, I would be careful of that. All right, let's take a look at this guy's Clanker coin. And he says he got it at $14. Clanker. All right. Kraken. $14. I assume this is the one you're talking about. I don't see $14 on this one. Clanker. Clanker year. I know the year is not too different. Clanker spot. Maybe this one. Least most wanted. Let me know if I'm getting the right charts for you. If you really got it at $14, I mean, at least with these charts, let's go to the daily. I mean, we are putting in higher floors, higher lows, but I feel like, you know, let's go to coin or crypto market cap. Let's find your Clanker coin. All right, Clanker token bot. 32, is this the one you're talking about? I don't think so. You said 1 million fully diluted Clanker coin. This one's at $32, so it's a 707. I think this one's closer to what you were talking about. Clanker Talking about. Comment below what the ticker for it is, so I get you the right one. I will be honest with you, least most wanted. If you are new here, I don't really talk about those coins too much. Those are gambles to me. So if that's one you're into and you're able to get any good profits, good for you. But I do not talk about those coins too much just because they are so volatile. And I will say, whether it's a Solana coin or whatnot, take profits when you can on those very small market cap coins. Whether or not they do well during alt season, I don't know. But those ones, if you're able to get in a good low price and they pop off, I would have sell targets. But yeah, without a ticker, I don't know what else to give you. Let's talk about Ondo, and I want to talk about Fetch, the AI coin. Ondo and Fetch, and then we'll get to some miners. All right, Ondo. This is one that, I got a notification that it hit a buy target at 86 cents. Right now it's at 90. I do like Ondo in this area, so I do not mind buying Ondo here. Yeah, on the daily. This has been good support area. Now again, Bitcoin could go lower. If Ondo gets back to the 3.2, anywhere around 76 cents, I'm going to be even more excited. But overall, this could be a good accumulation for Ondo. See, Jason, thank you so much for your help on those two coins. I frequently catch your videos and appreciate the help with this. This is my first crypto cycle. Yep, Jason, appreciate the nice comment and the other nice comments I get. Let's go to this here. I've been here since 2017, and I will say, I have had friends, family, coworkers, strangers tell me that they're getting in the crypto up here and then they bag hold for 4 years. I don't believe the top is in yet. I don't believe we've had alt season yet. So if you've been watching my videos, we are in phase 2, as I believe. And we get alt season when Bitcoin tops and it's too expensive to buy. The 2 to 4 weeks following the Bitcoin top is truly when you want to look at taking profits. I don't want to see you bag holding. And mining stocks tend to top with Bitcoin top as well. So there's good indicators to show where Bitcoin might be topping. If we see miners popping off and Bitcoin popping off, 150, 200K end of year, Bitcoin dominance falling, that's your indication. Okay, this is profit taking time. So I would encourage you, Jason, to write a plan out now where your profit taking targets are, so you are being smart during times of euphoria, and what conditions of the market you might take profits in. Okay, so you're not left holding a bag. There's something else I wanted to add in there. Yeah, just make sure you have a plan, is all I'm saying. A lot of people, they get into the, I know what I was going to say, they get into the euphoria and they don't sell. So right now we're in that fear area. Good range to be buying, as Bitcoin is here. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 102K, I don't know. But this is a good area to still be buying some altcoins if they're the chosen ones. Again, they can really pop off, and I hope your altcoins do. But do your research and do have a plan on when to get out. That, being in the last 2 cycles, that is the best strategy. Now, I got good altcoins in 2017, but I fell into the euphoria trap. I still got profits, but I could have had like 5x more profits. I still got great profits. Last cycle, I had a plan, I had price targets, and I got out with my money. I was very happy. And I'll tell you, right in here, that euphoria, it almost caught me. So do be careful. If you get out, you never look back. That's all I'm saying. And I'm glad I got out, because I would have fallen into a trap here. It's very hard not to. So have your price targets, have your conditions. All right, Ondo, we talked about that one. Let's get into Fetch. This is one of those AI coins that, should this one do well, we do not have a golden pocket on this one. Let's add in a golden pocket. 0.65. All right, so Fetch does look to be losing at 7.86. If it comes down to 40 cents, man, I do like Fetch down there. That would be an area of Fetch I would not want to miss. It probably has a sell signal too. Yeah, it's still playing out a sell signal. Sell bearish. Man, if fetch comes down here, I would like that. Let's draw a fib on the daily time frame. Let's get rid of this. We can get rid of the moving averages as well. Let's see. Let's draw a fib, high to low. It's not really a low to high fib. I'm sorry. It's going to get... Yeah, so fetch is under its micro 382. We do have this 236 here at around 53 cents. If you like fetch and you get it anywhere between, let's see, I'm going to say this, there's too much going on here. Let me get rid of this fib. If you get it anywhere between, under 54 cents to 40 cents, but I'd say, 40 to 50, I think this coin can do well. Now, fetch is one of those. I got it. I was lucky to get it down here at 6 cents. You guys are like, what? This guy's amazing. I got it down here at 6 cents. I did not sell up here. I do still have some fetch, but I sold a bunch over here to pay for one of my pet surgeries, which was very expensive. And hey, that's what profits are for. They make our lives better, easier. I needed $3,000-ish, and I said, this is part of my fetch bag. I will happily use that to take care of my beloved child, my fur baby. So I did. I still have some fetch, but I would not mind getting in, if there is any more fetch to get down here at 40 cents. I'm keeping an eye on fetch. All right. I just checked. It was actually $20. It was a great session. Thanks for me, too. You're welcome. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into the mining stocks. Mara, that is my cat's feeder. 1 second. That's my voice recorded into the automatic feeder. If you have a cat, get an automatic feeder where you can record your voice. They're hilarious. All right, at the 0.5, it didn't get above that trend line that we were talking about with Mara. Let's add on our moving averages. Might look at the stochastic and the MACD with this one. Yeah, this is one of those fib within a fibs I think we're going to catch. Yeah, right at that 382. So Mara at $15, I do like. If Mara gets back down to $15, I'll probably be buying some. This is full disclosure, one mining stock I really like. I like it a lot because they have the second most amount of Bitcoin behind MicroStrategy. That's got to count for something. Dilution of stocks since last cycle and all. With the market cap of $6 billion, I'm looking at market caps at around $30 billion, say 5x for this one. I hope it does well. I am a little jealous of all you Iron people out there. Congrats. Should have bought a bunch into that one with all the AI stuff tied into it. That's my mistake. So yeah, Mara, talked about that one. Let's add those indicators now. We'll go into Iron. We'll go into Riot, other miner stocks or cryptos that you guys request. Stochastic MACD. And, this one kind of doesn't look too bad. I don't mind this. I think, that's showing some good underlying strength for Mara, so maybe it's going to test this trend line some more. But yeah, if you get it in the $15 range, we're pinching pennies here, but the MACD and the stochastic, I don't hate it. And I will say, overall, recently I will remind myself that, these miners have been popping off lately. This was today, but if we go into, are we able to look at, we're not able to look at, past this week for some of these. Here we go. Miners have been popping off a little bit, and they do top with Bitcoin. So I shared this last week. Part of my plan is rotating my low market cap mining stock gains into my low market cap altcoin gains. My top market cap ones, when they hit their targets or conditions, I'm just taking profits and I'm happy. My lower market cap ones, these, when they have profits, if some of my altcoins haven't run the way I want yet, I'm going to rotate. And I might, and if I lose money there, I'm fine with it because I'm taking profits with my bags up here. Okay. But yeah, those ones I'm looking for possible 25 X to 100X potential. Because if I can 5 to 10X low market cap miners, rotate them 5 to 10X of crypto, 5 times 5, 25, 10 times 10, 100. That's my gambling play. My only miners are no longer Bitcoin mining plays. Iron and Cypher, now AIHPC. All right, let's take a look at Iron. This is the number one miner right now. Man, this one, Iron really popped off. It really popped off. Some of you might remember when it was like the number 5 to 7 miner. It is right at its 1618 at $44. Getting resistance there. The wick is there. Let's look at the daily. Man. Yeah, I mean, talk about hitting that 1618 perfectly. This is why we have fibs right here. So if you were getting Iron, anywhere $6 to $10, you've had a 4 to a 7X. So I do think this can go higher. It is an 11 billion market cap. I think, it could even possibly do another 2X from here. I really do. If it got to somewhere between the 2618, 3618, hey, yeah, again, if Bitcoin is at 150 or 200K and Iron's up here or higher, you seriously have to consider taking profits. Now, I'm not saying buy now at a premium. It's already running. But if Iron ever came back down to these areas, of around 20 to $30 and showed some good support, I would consider it. Let's take a look at Riot. Actually, sorry, I want to look at one more thing in Iron. I want to see how the indicators of strength is showing, especially like the RSI and the MACD, because I'm sure they're very overbought. I mean, we're on the daily here. Yeah. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, look, it's very bullish. Nothing to say it can't continue to be bullish. But yeah, it is very overbought right now. It is very overbought. Bubble risk indicator. I'm sure this one's off the chart. Yeah. When your bubble risk indicator is over 100, I mean, again, I'm not saying it can't do a lot more, but, it's one of those. Now's not the time to be buying. Now's the time to consider, where are your levels of profit taking? The 1618 is one of those levels. And you would already have a 5 to a 7X. Now, if you're wanting to be more greedy and get, a 10X, cool. I hope it does that for you. All right, let's get into Riot. Riot, we were talking about price targets here, but let's be in the here and now. Riot, it escaped that descending channel, which I love. It is on its way to that golden pocket, but I think that 0.5 fib will be a nice area for support, which it is already showing. So that 0.5 area, nice area of support. Even if it came back down to the 3.2 at around 10 to $11, for me, that would be an area that I wouldn't want to miss because we escaped this channel. Okay, but this would be an area I would very much not want to miss. That chart is Palantir, like Crypto Golfer says. Yeah, not quite Palantir like. Palantir has that P ratio of 600, which is just insane. It's just insane this thing is at a P ratio of 600 for a few months. Absolutely insane. But hey, smart money, large money, they are pumping these AI stocks. And this is an AI military stock when there's World War III fears going around. So what's not to love about that? It is the new Raytheon or new, what's the other military stock? I guess Boeing's always up there for military-wise. So yeah, does Iron have, what's its P ratio at? I am very curious now that you said it. It doesn't even have it yet. But if it did, would it be around 600? Who knows? Getting back to Riot, yeah. 16, I like Riot's potential. As far as former all-time highs or a little higher, we talked about those targets. I think 10x potential is in here now. When it's down around $7, I was like, hey, this is 20x potential. So, Riot, I don't think it's too late, but I would temper expectations. Let's look at cores. I got to go back in the videos and find the comment where one of you recommended cores all the way down here. And I hope you bought some. You'd be sitting on a nice good 4x right now. Cores, we can add on moving averages again, keep this simple. I like that 786 area support. You know, if this thing's doing higher lows, lower highs, forming some sort of a wedge. If it gets down here around 15-ish dollars, I mean, we're pinching pennies there. I saw PE about 115. All right, yeah, so 150 PE. You know, normal PE ratios, like when you take a look at Google, Google for a while was in the low 20s. And as far as the Mag 7 stocks, people were loving Google because of that. Now, Google's been doing very well lately. So I don't think it has a PE ratio of 20 anymore. It probably has, well, surprise, surprise. So Google compared to other, I mean, Meta, Google, still not bad. You know, Amazon a little higher, which is surprising with all the, fears of tariffs and immigration stuff. I do think it's important to look at P ratios. Apple, Microsoft, 37. A normal P ratio is, by the way, somewhere around the mid-teens, 15. NVIDIA, of course, doing well. So, Google, as far as all things are considered, not bad. I do like Google as an AI stock, but the time to buy it was, we were talking about it when it was around the 100-week, and I was saying, with Microsoft, Google, Apple, anytime they're under the 100-week moving average, just consider how rare of an opportunity it is. Yes, it could still be bearish, but how often does it happen? Once every couple of years? So that's one of the perspectives I have, is just when a major stock, a good stock, is between its 100 to 200-week moving average, that range, or under that, when it's under it, we've crashed. We've had a crash. That's time to get it. So if you got Google down here at 150, you've almost had a 2x, in not that much time. And I do think it can go higher. All right. I'm getting beside myself. Cores, let's get back on track. Cores, as far as the daily, we talked about this. 786 area, $15. Let's go to other miners. Cypher, I'm happy with my Cypher lately. I do have some Cypher. Very happy with it. We were taking a look at price targets. It hit that former all-time high and then got some rejection. So Cypher probably coming back down to the 888, I would imagine. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly, dang, this is just gangbusters. The daily, maybe it revisits the 786 at worst at around $7 if you like Cypher. That'd be an area to watch for. Other mining stocks. Let's go to Wolf, CleanSpark, some of the classics. There was someone from Brazil. We were in the live chat. I think when Wolf was around $3, I said, I like this one. And hey, we got a 3x since there. Now, I got Wolf when it was in the $1 range, the low to mid $1 range. So I am very happy. I dang near have a 10x with Wolf. Would be not stutter. Golden pocket area coming out of it. 786, upper area of the channel. I would watch out for some resistance here. See what happens at the 786. I would not be surprised to see people taking a lot of profits there. But, if this thing gets above this channel, it can go euphoric. So, do watch for what happens there. CleanSpark. This is one, I'm surprised it's not doing better. It did just get out of the descending channel. It is at its golden pocket, which I've neglected to add on here. Let's add that on. All right. My cat says hi again and is trying to knock things over on my table, of course. Classic cat behavior. If you don't want to miss CleanSpark and you believe in it, I like this area. And so does my cat. All right. So, it's my fault for not cleaning the table. Go ahead, knock that over again. But this is... if you were here, my cat's just knocking things over left and right. It's a sign I need to clean the table. I like CleanSpark. I think this one can do very well, and I like the level it's at right now. So yeah, it is a little detached from the moving averages, but I don't mind. This whole area, 11 to 13 bucks, I think is good. Um, let's take a look at some of the low market cap miners. Bitfarms did very well. It's come back down to earth. Maybe it comes back down to $1.93. I'd be patient on it. If it gets down to $1.93 and you need a gamble, I like Bitfarms. I'll keep that one simple. Bit Digital, they had a recent meeting. I need to look up whether or not they were doing share dilution. If they are, be mindful of that. I do not have that answer. It's right at all the moving average supports, but if it gets lower at the 382, I do not hate Bit Digital there. And Hive Digital Technologies in its massive channel, and it's struggling with that 382 fib again. You guys know what the 382 fib means? It means we can still put a new lower lows, but it is above the 50-week moving average. So it is bullish in that sense, but it needs to stay above. So if we do get a pullback in time, crypto stock-wise, and you like Hive, it comes back down to 260, I think that'd be an area worth considering if you want to take a gamble at Hive. Again, I think this is worth reiterating. I do have some Hive. I do have some Bitfarms. And for those low market cap coins, this is part of my plan, not telling you what to do. It's part of my stupid plan. My Mara, my Riot, when they hit their price targets, I am just taking profit. My Chainlink and my other top market cap altcoins, when they hit their targets or conditions, I'm just taking profits. Now for my Jasmy and my Fetch and my low market cap coins, what I'm doing is, since miners top before or with Bitcoin, take a look at last cycle, since miners top with Bitcoin, if my miners do very well and they top with Bitcoin, whether it's around 150, 200K, whatever that area is, I'm more of a believer in the 200K area. I'm going to take those profits and see if I can rotate into a Jasmy, because those altcoins can do well after the Bitcoin top. Not looking at Chainlink, those top altcoins. I'm taking a look at some of those low market cap altcoins. Actually, I wonder, was Fetch? I do believe it was around last cycle, before the top. Now Fetch, this one topped before, so that's something to consider. It's why it's important to read the charts. There are a lot of altcoins that top after. Let's take a look at, Doge, for example. Got to back this up. See, there you have with Doge. Here's the top for Bitcoin. The alt season after, that's when Doge pumped. Some altcoins pump a lot or a little. You do want to be careful of that. So that's part of my plan for the low market cap stuff. If I can turn a 5 to 10x on miners and rotate it into another 5 to 10x on altcoins. That's just part of my low market cap plan. My high market cap altcoins and miners, I'm just taking profits. So, yeah, that's the degeneracy I'm looking at doing. And as far as Bitcoin, like this guy's talking about 150 to 200K Bitcoin. We'll finish with this. Yes, I am. Bitcoin, you'll see that it has these fib extensions between 150 to 200K. All right, great, cool. Let's get rid of this fib. Too much going on there. We can see that the pi cycle, which is good at calling tops. Okay, you either get a top and reject it, or we blow through the top. The last two cycles, we blew through that top moving average, okay, and we got the signal. But during those euphoric tops, we either blow through or tag it. During the alt season, or the alt seasons we got is after we blew through the tops. So our pi cycle moving average is right at around 200K. All right, cool. All right, we have the pi cycle. So if we hit that pi cycle, 200K maybe, we have our log regression, which is very similar to our rainbow chart. This is where the tops go. Look where the top is in this log regression, around 200K. Cool, whatever. Let's get rid of that. Remember, when things get euphoric, it does get detached from reality. Now, you guys are smart, and I think we have reasonable conservative price targets. Remember, markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. That's a classic line, but if we get true euphoria, that's what I'm looking for. Look at the regression of these tops, okay? You can go to the last rainbow chart. You see how these tops regress over time, okay? Now, just by following the trend, you can go in this light green box. Hey, are we going to get low 200K Bitcoin? You know, here it's more the orange boxes I'm looking at. Okay, we're in the reddish orange. If we hit the orange, let's say in January, if we hit that orange box, it's the low to mid 200K area. So I would not be surprised with that. Eric Ward says he has a very big bag of Jasmine. Let's take a look at Jasmine, and then we'll end the video there. You know, and I'll just remind you, I mean, there's a lot of comparisons between the .com and the .com bubble and this AI bubble. Are we around January of 1999, where we still have a year left stock-wise, but that the crypto bubble will come within there? You know, are we going to get alt season December, January, next May? I don't know. But if you watch my channel, we do know the metrics to look for. For Eric, let's finish out with a little TA on Jasmine. You know, I do like Jasmine. I do hope this higher low holds up. You know, we talked about in my short video this week how this area could be visited. You know, if it gets lower, then, you know, could the 236 be hit technically at around, you know, a ninth of a penny? Sure. But I do not mind Jasmine here. I want to see Bitcoin sort of put in a local bottom and see where Jasmine is. Whether it's down here or here at a penny, I think that is worth considering. Okay. Now, if Jasmine gets back to its former all-time highs, I mean, that is a very good return right now. That's like a 30x. Not saying it will get there. Even if it gets to its 786 and underperforms, that's a 10x from here. So again, have price targets where you will withdraw profits. Have a strategy. Literally write it down. You know, what conditions and price targets will you sell? Are you going to sell when Bitcoin dominance is tanking to the mid-low 40s? Are you going to sell when Bitcoin put in a top at around 150, 200K, and we see miners top, we see Bitcoin top in the rotation? You know, I am not here to say where Jasmine will be, but we do have those price targets. And Jasmine, even on its micro fib, it is bearish. So do have a plan, do be careful. Jasmine, to me, is more of a gamble, but I do think there are some promising things about Jasmine. There are reasons I like Jasmine. Again, this is one of my low market cap, quote unquote, educating gambles. All right. I'm not telling you to buy it. Do your own research. And we are here to talk altcoins. So let's close it out there. Thank you guys so much for being here watching. If you are watching this on replay and you have any requests for altcoin analysis, comment below. I have started doing YouTube shorts on altcoin analysis. Viewers seem to like it. They're some of my top viewed videos, so thank you for that. You know, I'll keep the macro stuff more to the long form videos, but if you have any specific altcoins, put it in the comments, not the live chat comments, but the comment on this video, and I'll get to those later on. You can comment in my other videos too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. It is fall. Hope you are still getting outside. Go on some hikes, kayak, do whatever you need to do. Walk the dog, visit a lake or something. Do what you need to do to get your mind clear, and so you can see the forest through the trees and be ready for, hopefully, a crypto euphoric cycle top and alt season. I want you to be ready for that so you are able to take profits when that time comes and not be left holding a bag for 4 years. None of us want that. I don't want you to have that. I don't want that for myself. So thank you guys so much again for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care.